All right, well, here we are. It's a big web-only segment now. This is only going to be on the internet, which means I think we can cuss. But we won't. Anyway, so we're taking questions from the audience here on the web-only segment. Those of you watching on KTLKFM.com here at News Talk 100.3 FM. I got that. You see that? I got that. And all right, first question. Where are we going? Big Chocolate, you starting us off there, brother? All right, here we go.
Actually, a couple questions, but the first one is, or at least in terms of the WikiLeaks situation, this would have never happened under Bush Cheney. This guy could have been on a transatlantic flight. You could have got him to go to the bathroom, and he would have just disappeared. There would have been 400 people on the plane. This guy would have just disappeared into thin air, and he would have surfaced 60 years later. He was on Gitmo or something. We would have never found this guy. This happened under Bush Cheney.
Yeah.
I think this is done by design, just so that Obama can look good. But a couple questions for Tom here. I've heard some rumors that I've started actually that you will be running in 2012 with Childress on a ticket.
And Brewster.
Right. So that's a. But and the other one is it true that you are currently in talks with the Discovery Channel to do a show called Tom Emmer's Minnesota? And if so, will you start using Big Chocolate's snow removal so I can get on TV?
No and yes.
No and yes. All right, next up. There we go. A question. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Walter with North Star Tea Party Patriots. Tom, you had this great message during the campaign. You talked about exchanging the idea of compromise with the idea of negotiation. And the impression that I got when I heard you delivering that message was that you were anticipating having a Republican governor with a legislature that was led by the Democrats. Now we have the opposite situation. How would you advise the state legislature coming in to use that same concept of negotiation and try to move the ball downfield for conservative issues?
Thank you, Walter. That's, I mean, you're right. That was the message, because my short time in the legislature, words mean things. And when you listen to people talk about compromise, you listen to legislators on a regular basis say, oh, the people sent us down here to get something done. Did you ever think, I want to say to them, maybe they don't want you to get certain things done, right? Maybe they don't want you to think it's all about you, it's about them. So how best do you serve the public? Since it's been reversed, I think, and again, these people are going to do a great job. I think they've got a lot of things to learn. Keep in mind, we haven't had a Republican Senate in the last, well, we've never had a Republican Senate. It's been conservatives, but never had a Republican Senate. If you're going to negotiate, this is kind of what we were talking about earlier, as I point to Chris. I think you tell the governor-elect, here's the money we have. This is what we're going to have. We're going to have 5% more revenue, which is going to put us somewhere around $32, $33 billion total for the general fund. That's the money we have, Governor Dayton. We will give it all to you. These are the targets that we have in the different areas that government has to serve. But we're going to give you the respect. Now, you do your work. You tell us if this is the money, because this is the negotiation. We all have to agree you should not spend more money than you have. If he really thinks that the general public, because I know that everybody in this room believes that they're rich, but we all define that differently. Jackie and I are rich with a great family, but we don't have the kind of money that Senator Dayton, or Governor Dayton now, Governor-elect, thinks. So guess what? If you're going to negotiate, you got to put that out there, and the great majority of the people in this state will say, yeah, as long as government lives within its means, we want to see what you're going to do, Governor-elect, and that's how both sides can have some success if they're going to. But if you get into the stalemate, where it's either my way or the highway, you're not going to go anywhere. The one thing we should all agree on is you can't be successful by constantly spending more money than you're bringing in.
All right, next up.
Hi, Thomas. Tim. I just had a question. I know you got 7 children, and you talked a lot about your perspective on this campaign. Could you just share with us the view of each one of your kids in the last 5 weeks or so since the election, and how they've responded, and then have a dad get up there and say, well, I lost. And so you just share with us each one of your kids and how they've responded and what they think?
Well, thank you, Tim. Jackie and I both have had these discussions quite a bit, because remember, we're the adults. Whether it's our kids or their friends or others, they all look to us to see how we react in times of stress in times of, you know, difficult times. And I just believe that the right thing to do is to stand up and be an adult and be a professional. And our two older boys are in Canada skating, so they're a little removed. I sent them the words that I had prepared the other night, sent them a note and said, this is what I've decided to do, and I just want you both to know. I got an email back from our 18-year-old this morning that said, congratulations, Dad. All right, I mean, it was very positive. Our son Bob is always smiling. Everywhere he goes, he's smiling, and he always will. Our daughter Katie, I think it probably, she took it very personal. And this is, as I say that, this is one of the things that everybody should recognize, because if you're ever sitting on this side, you know, I can handle it. It's business to me. People can call me names, people can try to twist things in the past and do whatever they want, and I will deal with that. To me, that's just business. It's not supposed to be personal. But your family, as I found out over the last year plus, they take it very personal. I mean, when people are attacking their father, their loved one, they take that to heart. And I think our wonderful daughter let a little of that go in the last few days, which has been really healthy. And then Joe, Bill, and John, the three amigos, they just can't wait to get on the road again. They're looking forward to what's the next adventure? What are we doing next? So it's been a great and healthy experience, Tim. And I've said this to you and others. Anybody who ever has the opportunity, absolutely take it. It's worth it.
All right, next up.
Good morning, Tom and Chris. I just want to say thank you for appearing up in Senate District 47 where I live. It's been great listening to you. You have a lot of humor. You're vibrant. It's going to be interesting to figure out what I'm going to have to do for the next 4 years, and maybe you can give me some advice, Tom. I'm a father with 3 children, small business owner, and I look at you, and I can sit here and listen to you and watch you. For 4 years, I'm going to have to listen to Dayton. Explain to me, what can I do? Should I have a bottle of scotch next to me? What am I, he is boring, and no disrespect to
Well, let me just point out quickly, he did say earlier today he's working on being funny. So, you know, think of it as going to a club and watching an open mic thing, you know.
But I tell you, all the appearances you did for us, up in our Rotary Club, our fundraiser we had for you at Rush Creek, you were excellent. We had the best turnouts every time you came, and you outperformed all the other politicians, at least in our area, and I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. I got a question for you, Tom Emmer. Are you sometimes taken aback at just how many people your message resonated with?
Yeah. Yes, I am. And it's one of those things that your mother, as Jackie, is going to try to make my eyes water. You know, it's one of those things that your mother teaches you over time.
Yeah.
When people give you a compliment, just say thank you. I kind of had to learn that over this. And yes, it was amazing. But you know what? Not so much, because I said traveling the state, it was a renewal for me, because I went into the legislature as a guy that comes from the same background that you just heard, a family, a business, and I'd sit there late at night listening to people that I don't disrespect, they're good people, but they don't have the background, standing over there saying, well, if we raise taxes, it'll make our economy work again. And I'm thinking, where did you get that idea? Where did you learn this? Because that's not the way it works. The more you take from me as a business owner, the less I'm able to create, and the less the whole thing works. I was, as Jackie knows, there were nights I'd come home and say, you're just not going to believe this. And yet when I went traveling around the state of Minnesota, I think this is why it was such a good fit for me. Because there were people just like the people in this room that I'd meet on Main Street everywhere all over the state going, you know, you don't talk like those guys from St. Paul there. You seem to talk like one of us. Well, that's because we are one of you, and I think there's more of us out there than they even know, which is why that conversation we had earlier today, the folks that just got elected on November 2nd, whether they are Republicans or Democrats, they better be well aware that the people are the ones that run this country, and they're going to be watching real close.
Hi, my name is Sean. I'd like to ask both of you, I've been around politics long enough to, scary as it is, that I agree a little bit with Ron, that I'm always skeptical. You know, once they get